Welcome back. So today we're officially inaugurating a new section of this channel where I'll talk about the highlights of my favorite books. On this occasion we have nothing less than Moonwalking with Einstein, because it's the book that has influenced my language learning strategies the most. The reason being that it explains how you can memorize an insane amount of information in a short amount of time. So what I'm gonna do is not to try to summarize the whole book, but rather to pick its most relevant parts that can be applied to language learning. That is, I'll restrain myself to explaining how memory champions memorize things extremely quickly, and then I'll explain why this technique works. So if you're interested in understanding how the brain works, then stay with me. So the book is a chronicle of how the author went from knowing nothing about memorization strategies to becoming the United States memory champion. This competition consists of 5 challenges, which include, among others, memorizing 99 faces and names within 15 minutes, memorizing a 15-line poem within 15 minutes as well, and memorizing the order of a deck of cards in the shortest amount of time possible, sometimes in less than 1 minute. Like, imagine for a second being able to achieve those feats, because they look superhuman, right? So how do they do it? So the technique they use is called the memory palace technique, also known as the method of Loci or Loci. This consists of transforming the information you want to memorize, whatever that might be, into images which you will subsequently place in rooms that are familiar to you. This could be your bedroom, your office, or your parents' kitchen, as well as an imaginary one. Each of those imaginary images represent one of the cards in the case of the deck of cards contest, but it could also mean a bunch of digits or whatever it is that you want to memorize. In order to make these images as memorable as possible, you should add some fun, erotic, or memorable element to them. For instance, when memorizing a deck of cards, they usually assign a celebrity to each of the cards. So Ed Cook, a memory grandmaster, used to assign the Ace of Diamonds to Michael Jordan and the Six of Spades to Lady Gaga. And when memorizing them, Ed would try to get used to their moods and even to their smells. And sometimes Ed would add a sensual element to them, like he would imagine one of those celebrities half naked or having sex with an animal. So this is, in essence, how the memory palace technique works and how people who compete in these international memory competitions actually manage to pull it off. So as of now, some of you might be wondering why this technique is so effective, and in my opinion there are mainly 3 points that explain it. The first one is that we humans are way better at remembering images and locations than more abstract concepts such as numbers and words. So for most of human history we had to survive in the wilderness under tough conditions. In that environment, the ability to retain the places became of paramount importance. Having a good spatial memory allowed us to avoid the dangerous places and to remember where we had stored some food or where we could find that spring of water. So then natural selection acted, and thus the humans that were better at encoding this type of information were the ones that would survive. Comparatively, the creation of writing is only a very recent phenomenon, dating back only 5,000 years. And this is very recently compared to the time that Homo sapiens has been around. Thus, we are not programmed to retain this type of information well. This explains why you've forgotten your cousin's birthday so many times and why you probably don't know more than 4 decimals of pi. And this would also explain why you remember your last trip so vividly, or why you can't forget that image your friend posted 1 week ago. So the second reason why the method of Loci works is that we are better able to retain information when we can connect it to something we already know. So the whole memory palace technique is based on the concept of elaborative encoding, a mnemonic that relates the information you want to learn with the things that you already know. This can be well illustrated with the Baker-Baker paradox. So this is a psychology experiment whereby the test subjects are divided in 2 groups. One of them is shown the picture of a person and told that this person is called Baker. The other group, though, is told that this person is a baker. So when a few days later the test subjects are shown the picture of this person again and asked if they recall what his name was, the ones that were told that this person was a baker were actually way better at recalling his name. This is because the concept of a baker already exists in our minds, so what these people had to do was just to attach the new piece of information to the old one. Maybe they associated the face of Mr. Baker to a donut, to a white hat, or to their neighborhood's bakery. So this all explains why relating the, say, random numbers that you want to memorize with some images that you already know that are familiar to you works so well. The corollary of this is that the more hooks that a new piece of information has, the more memorable it will be. So this explains why our memory champion was trying to create a multisensory experience by, for instance, emphasizing the smell of the celebrities, thus creating more links between the new information and the old one. Because now you not only remember the face, but also the smell. The third reason as to why the method of Loci works so well is our tendency to remember memorable things, what in the world of psychology is called salience. So anything that is exaggerated, sexually attractive or fun, anything that is colorful, that is exciting, or that stands out from the rest is more likely to be remembered. And this explains why Ed Krug was trying to exaggerate some of the traits of the celebrities. All in all, this book will help you understand why the saying "an image is worth 1,000 words" is so true. It explains why images and real-life experiences are so powerful and how you can use that to learn anything, from a string of random numbers to a string of random letters to a deck of cards. So now the question, do we need to master the memory palace technique to learn foreign languages? Well, the answer is a no, because the vast majority of language learners don't use the method of Loci. In fact, I'm not aware of any polyglot on YouTube that uses this technique to learn foreign tongues. Nonetheless, there are actually people who have mastered the memory palace technique and then use that to learn foreign languages, such as Ed, the memory champion I've mentioned a few times. By the time the book was written, Ed spoke German and French fluently and could also read Latin and ancient Greek. And he used the method of Loci to learn those languages. What's more, in 2020, he decided to create Memrise, an app that now has close to 60 million users and that is present in almost 200 countries. So we can definitely assert that the memory palace technique is not a necessary tool for learning foreign languages, but that knowing it can actually help you learn foreign tongues. So should you try to learn this technique, that would actually take a lot of time, practice, energy, and most of us are not willing to put in all that effort in order to become an expert in the method of Loci, right? Nonetheless, there are 7 tricks that can be derived from everything I've said today, which can help you learn foreign languages quicker without having to learn the method of Loci. And that is what I'm going to explain in my next video. So thank you for watching and see you in a few days.